Hey there, welcome to One Hit Wonders with Mr. Sailors, and today we're going to be going over tariffs. And you see right here we have a nice supply and demand graph, domestic supply and domestic demand. This would be just the U.S. and no trade with any other country. And we see right here the equilibrium price with this closed economy would be $10 and the equilibrium quantity would be 300. Now let's suppose, right, that, of course, the country opens up and trades with the rest of the world. What would happen to, let's say, the number of widgets that are sold in the United States? Well, we know that that number would increase, right? And we see the price would go down to 400, and you draw this line like that for the world price. The world price, if everyone can trade in the U.S., would be $4 for the widget. That means quantity demanded would go up to 800. But look right here. The domestic industries in the U.S. would only at $4 be willing to produce 100 widgets. So 800 want to be bought. Only 100 are being made domestically. Thus, what are the amount of the import? And that import would be 700 widgets, right? To make up. So domestic at $4, U.S. companies would only produce 100, but yet we want to buy 800 at a price of $4. So to make up that gap, 700 widgets would be imported from around the world. So we see how this works right here, how world trade works. It lowers prices, and we have, of course, more items. It's pretty rocking right there. Now let's suppose we got some congressmen in who don't like this. They have some widget businesses in their district and they don't like all this competition. So they decide to get a tariff passed on foreign-made widgets being imported. And as you remember, a tariff is a tax on an import. So if we tax this import right here, right, you can see that the price, of course, would now go up to $6. And this is the price with the tariff. I'll write that out. Goes up. And we see now with the higher price, U.S. businesses will make 200, but still at $6. All right. We want to buy 600 units. So we still see how many units are going to be, of course, imported. And yes, you are right. It is 400 units will be imported. Now, each of those units that are imported are going to be taxed. So where is the tax revenue? And the tax revenue, of course, is going to be this box right here. You can see it's the area of that rectangle. So it's going to be the $2 vertical distance, $2, which is the tariff, times the 400 items right there, $800 in taxes. So government tax right there. Now, what do we see, of course, right here in the corner? These little triangles. Yep, you got it. There are DWL. DWL right there. And this is kind of the things you know. I don't know how in-depth with the questions they're going to get, but you can see it right here. Another thing I know they're probably going to ask, of course, would be things like, where is consumer and producer surplus, calculating that triangle. And really, just remember, consumer surplus is above the price and below the demand curve. Producer surplus is below the price and above the supply curve. So let's do this really quick. Hopefully you can see this yellow right here. I'll find out if you can see it from my videographer in a second. But if they ask, with the tariff, where is the consumer surplus? And like I said, Sailor says it's above the price and below the demand curve. This triangle right there would be the consumer surplus with the tariff, right? Now, if you wanted to go even further and the consumer surplus with the world price, you take this triangle all the way, of course, down here. It would get bigger. I know that's a little messy. If you watch it over again, it goes in order. It's not as messy, but there's something. And look at this. Look at this. This is the small producer surplus at the world price. Below the price, above the supply curve. So these are some different questions they could ask you. It's going to be a highly kind of missed question. So knowing this, you would rock it on the FRQs. But there's a chance they might not ask it. Next time on One Hit Wonders.